Oh, we're live.
There we go.
Let's see.
Got myself a nice cup of chai today. I can't even speak today.
That's good. I have a cup
I
of
know,
tea.
right? I need the caffeine apparently.
Yeah, caffeine is really good at this
I'm trying to limit myself. I've been trying to be really good because I've been using it as a crutch in a lot of ways, like staying up late at night, way later than I should, and then just being like,
time.
oh, I'll just drink caffeine in the morning. It's fine.
Yeah.
And my body is like, hey, it's gonna catch up to you.
Oh
And
yeah.
sure
Yep.
enough. So I've switched everything to decaf. This is decaf chai, and then I've also got decaf coffee I've been drinking.
Does it taste
So
different?
it does the trick, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better than nothing, I guess. Could always be
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
everybody. Oh, Heather's here. Wow. I don't think Heather's ever come before. Heather's my sidekick on my Friday nights. So,
Nice. Hi.
and
Hello,
Michelle's
everybody.
here.
Great to see you all today. So nice to see Tami as well. It's always such a bright, shiny day when Tammy's in the house.
I'm
I
always
like your
happy.
top, by the way. You look so cute today.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying to wear more colors. I wear a lot of black because, I'm from the East Coast like you. So I usually wear black, but I'm trying really hard to change it up a little. So
Black is my go-to for everything. That's the
I
main
know.
color I wear for everything. So yeah, I wear these tops literally just so I can have some color. I don't look like yeah.
You're trying for the colors.
I'm the exact same way. Up
Yeah.
until last year, I didn't own a single yellow, orange, or red shirt. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
So I
Wow.
actually bought this shirt just because it has yellow in it.
Yeah. I
Because
bought
you're
a
supposed to wear
bright,
bright, vibrant colors more often for the
yeah.
chakras.
Oh, so my grandmother swore by that. So my grandmother's eyes change colors. Like my eyes, I got her eyes. My eyes change colors too, but hers changed to whatever she was wearing. And everybody would tell you that. So she wore vibrant colors all the time. And whatever color she was wearing, that's what color her eyes were, even purple. Like it was crazy. So yeah. Yeah, I bought a bright yellow shirt about 2 months ago. I've only worn it twice, but every time I wear it, I swear it changes my mood. So, you know, so it is
I'm
worth
wearing some yellow jade, and I don't normally like the color, but for some reason, whenever I wear it, it did start to brighten my day. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to wear
it.
that more often.
Yeah, well, and jade is a really old stone, so it's got
Mhm.
a lot of like ancient wisdom, like all the different colors of it. So it's a good one.
Chantal says, given the two significant events yesterday, wouldn't it be interesting to look at the numbers of the date?
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Chantal's
421.
already like, oh, get into it.
Yeah. She's like, come on, guys, let's do this thing. Hey, I'm with you. Get it. So 421 was actually my it was like my repeating number for a while. And I had to figure out what it meant because I kept seeing it. First I saw 420 everywhere and I was like, I don't smoke weed, so I don't understand, but then I realized, what it meant, and I was like, okay, so like that would be like, love is on the way, basically, like opportunities are on the way and things like that. But then 421. So if you're looking at the whole date, you're looking at 421/25. You would
Mm-hmm.
be saying, so new opportunities are opening up. Let me kind of write it down and look at it. So 421/25. So new opportunities are opening up in many directions. Trust that the path is leading to a higher emotional awareness toward family and stability. That's what I would say this means. So like so I would think if this is like a significant death day, I would say this is going to open doors for a more stability in the family, and to trust that like it might not make sense at first, but it's going to make sense as you go. Like that's what I would say it means.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
Makes more sense as it goes. That's pretty, standard for the way things go right now, because
so
everything is kind of developing faster than we can even, keep an understanding
yeah,
of it.
yeah. Well, and when I think about the Pope, I think about the effects that the Catholic religion has on family, you know? So for it to be like a family year when this happens, and then like a year of the heart as well, like twos are all about the heart and fives are all about family. So like to be like a heart of the family kind of year, it's kind of like going to make a ripple effect for changes in the way we see family structure, you know? And
It is
that's
interesting. I did notice that the previous Pope died on New Year's Eve, and now one dies on Easter. So it does you kind of
oh,
wonder,
yeah.
like, why there's such significant dates.
Yeah, that's definitely significant because like
Yeah,
think about
New Year's
the
Eve and
time.
now Easter, like the day of resurrection of all days. Like,
I mean, really Easter is like the time of hope and like, you know, starting over anew and all that, and like believing all the things that we discredited in a way. Like think about how the whole Jesus times went, you know.
you might be
So
onto something there.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Okay.
know. I mean, I definitely don't follow religion too much. I follow that less than I follow politics, and that's
I
like
only follow them when they say they're gonna do some shady shit. Like, like we're gonna open 5 sacred portals on Christmas Eve, and it's like, That's
mm-hmm.
when they get my
Yeah,
attention. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that would, right? That would.
Mhm. But
So,
they've always used numerology as well, the church. They have their own version of
mhm.
numerology and astrology and all the other different mathematical equations for the universe. They know that's going on.
I mean, it makes sense because really, honestly, you know that they know what's going on for real. Like, you know that they remember all the secret coding, and everything is based on numbers. Like, astrology and numbers, that's what the universe is made of, you know? And especially
Mhm.
like the whole simulation theory, you know, it's just
Big time.
my teacher in business school, he used to always say it's all ones and zeros, everything's ones and zeros, because he would always talk in programming code, you know. And the truth is the whole universe is ones and zeros. Like the whole
Yeah,
universe is just numbers, that's all it is. Like we're just a program, really, I think, you know, that's what I believe.
absolutely. You change one little bit of code, and the next thing you know, you're a different person. So it's like, yeah, be
Also,
aware of that.
I have this friend, okay? She's one of my old coaching clients, okay? She started studying energy codes and belief codes, and she did this healing on me about a year ago or so. I had the worst tooth pain for like years that I could not get rid of. And she literally goes, "Oh, well, you had a betrayal this year." And she told me what year it was, like what age I was. And I was like, I don't know if you're right. And I kind of had to figure out what happened that year. And I was like, no, I was happy that year. Do you know that that was the same year that I got in a fight with my ex, who's my twin flame? And that was when we stopped talking. That was the year that we betrayed each other. How could she know that? Okay, one. But then she said that my tooth pain was coming from that. And since she did that healing, I've never had tooth pain again. So I don't know. That was
It's like you
all
got
she
the
did.
memo, you got the message. So now the email can
But
be archived, so to speak.
all she did though was change my codes. She did something in my code, like energy coding. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know why that works. I just know that that works.
Well, your name, your date of birth, even your location is all encoded. And so people don't really understand that. This is why you have
Yeah.
to put in these things for your numerology and things like, and for your astrology. We need your full name, your birth name, your
Yeah.
place of location, of, you know what I mean, and your date of birth. And what's funny is that that is exactly the same information the soul guides need to be able to find you it's almost like your energetic latitude and longitude, you know?
Your code,
So your name is encoded with your frequency.
yeah.
So that's why we need your birth name when we're doing clearings for the guys to be able to find you. That is the frequency that you were encoded with when you were born. And there are mathematical equations involved in that. In fact, they say that every single one of us is a unique 16-digit frequency code that is unique to only us in the entire cosmos.
It's like your blueprint. Like it is literally the blueprint of this life that you're having right now. I don't know if it's the blueprint of your soul, but it's the blueprint of at least this life.
Of this lifetime,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it has a few more numbers maybe for the whole soul code, you know? But
yeah, exactly. It's like your sorting code. You know, it's like bank account, your bank account code, then you get the sorting code and the routing code. So all of that, I'm sure, is mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But I can't do my work without your code, without your birthday, you know? So, and look at how much I can tell someone just from their birthday. You know, it's amazing, you know? So, yeah. It
is interesting that the soul guides can actually tell you through your Akashic record within about 2 hours what your date, what your time of birth is.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So even if you were born like you were adopted or something and you have no idea what your birth time is, I've actually had one of the soul guides go into the Akashic records. They couldn't nail the exact time, like down to the minute, but they could nail it down to the 2 hour mark.
Wow.
My mom help kind of narrow it down for people.
I found out a few months ago that my mom told my sister the same time as me. So I'm like, now I'm not sure. But mine's like really accurate whenever I've looked it up. So maybe she just remembers me because I was the oldest. I don't know.
That's funny. I was having this conversation. It's really funny that we're having this conversation because I was talking about it last night and Aiden looks at me and he goes, "What time was I born?" And I said 11:07. He goes, "In the morning or nighttime?" I said nighttime. You were almost too late. You're almost a bit late because he was talking about how punctual he was and how he was born exactly on his due date.
Oh, wow. That's
and
really
I was like, you almost missed it, but you know what I mean? You nailed it right on.
Wow. That's so rare for him to be born
I know.
right on his date.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always joke with him. I'm like, no, you have to be on time now. It's your you're set for life. Everything is gonna be on time.
And is he someone that's on time?
Usually. Usually, yeah. Habits not getting in the way. But it is interesting that even children are finding fascination in this and want to know what time they're born and if there's some kind of significance to that. And I didn't even tell them that we needed that for like astrology purposes. So it's just interesting that he was even asking.
Yeah, that is, well, I mean, the new children are all coming in programmed already with a lot of different things, you know, so they're not even the same like tribe as us. Like they're like you know, like they're totally different. I mean,
they got more upgrades coming in.
What did you say?
They have more upgrades before they came in here. They got little, boosty boosts.
They did, and that's like totally what the guides told me. I asked, and they said basically the 1900s were like, we were looking at the future and what we were going to do with the future, and then the 2000s came in already programmed with it, so it's why they pick up technology and they just know how to use it. Like we didn't even have technology.
He's so good at math. I'm like, no, math was my worst subject in school. I can memorize things, but I'm memorizing, and then applying and having to use the formulas. That was like way too much for my brain. Nope. But he's like, oh, I got this. Like fractions, he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how different their line of thinking is as well, the children that are coming in.
Yeah, well, they came in. So, I don't know if he came in the 2000s or before. He's in the 2000s, right?
2016. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyone that was born after 2000, like the year 2000, they were all programmed with a heart-centered focus. So, so the big thing with that is that, so when you're working from your heart, rather than your mind or anything like that, okay, that actually changes how you look at the world. So the reason why we entered the 2000s and why there's such a shift once we did that is because we are now experiencing emotions again. Like, we're trying to get back to the emotional vibrations that we actually are made from. And we're trying to understand what that is and how to get in alignment with that. And so all of the children that were born in the 2000s and on, they all came in with that focus. And that's why you're seeing in the world that there's no black or white anymore. There's no genders anymore. There's no like distinction between anybody, because they don't see that anymore. Like, they don't even see it. So unless they're taught it, they didn't come in with that. They came in with the exact opposite. And I've been thinking about it a lot, actually, over the last few months. I've been thinking about how, when you see a whole litter of cats, they're all different colors, and nobody cares, nobody acts any different. And same with dogs. It's like they could be all different breeds, all different colors. The dogs don't look at each other different. Like, nobody looks at them different. That's how people are supposed to be, because they're looking with their hearts. They're not looking with their minds and separating and all of that. So yeah, it's a big difference. It really is, and they're changing the world because of it. And they're helping us get back into our vibrations, into like we're supposed to understand vibration, and we're supposed to be feeling the world. We're not supposed to be analyzing the world. We spent a lot of generations analyzing the world. We're supposed to be feeling. And that's actually how we manifest, is by feeling, So now we're going to learn all of that. That's what we're learning right now, and that's why it's so hard for a lot of us. So we didn't come from that. So,
and it's even harder for those who are from the previous generations who are not understanding all of this, and it just goes completely over their head. But this is how it's always been. It's like the older generations have always kind of looked down on the newer generations. And I saw a post from, they took it from newspaper headlines going back 200 years. And every new generation that would come in, they called them lazy, incompetent, like all that's like basically what they would do. Like, for every generation that moved on, the older generation was like, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to work. Or, oh, no, they just want to play. They don't want to, you know what I mean? They can't be bothered to do the important things. And they just, it's very funny how humanity's mindset hasn't really changed from generation to generation too much.
No. And that's the problem. That's why we have to shift, because it's like we've just been on repeat for so long, and if you look at every 10 years, like if you look at the 10s and then the 20s and then the 30s and the 40s, we literally go through loops. We literally go through loops, and it is the same thing that just repeats. And then even if you
drives me crazy when they do it with the fashion as well. You can see it with the fashion.
Yes. Yeah, I don't like that. But I don't like
seeing Target, and you're like, wait a second, I could have sworn I saw this 30 years ago, exactly the same. And sure enough, it is. They just recycle things. So it's like humanity does. We follow patterns quite often. And when you can recognize those patterns, when you can really start to pay attention, you can predict the future, because things can kind of come back around full circle.
And that is basically how you predict the future. I told my students that, I want to learn more about astrology, and I want to learn more about mixing that with numerology, because when you mix those, you can actually tell the future. But just looking at the dates alone, you can tell the future. Like I do predictions every year. At the beginning of the year, I always go, this is going to be about this, and this is going to be about that. And the year always goes that way, and I always, at the beginning of the year, I would cringe and I'd be like, I don't want to tell anybody this. Like, I don't want to make predictions. but it always goes that way, you know? And then someone asked me, she's like, I'm in my 40s, but I don't have a 4 in my chart, but I feel like I have a 4. I'm like, yeah, you're 40s, you have a 4. You know, like that's what it is. It ends up happening because you're experiencing that time in your life. So you can predict that too. You can predict everything, you know. Um, Now, I do say that no psychic knows the future because the future is always changing, but you can predict the themes of what's going to happen day by day, month by month, year by year, you know? So, but yeah, you can't really say this guy's going to come back to you or not because that could change any minute, you know? So, you know, you could see it and then you could literally, your emotions change or his emotions change or something changes and then that doesn't happen anyway, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just
So,
crazy.
are there ways of spotting things that you can kind of change and shift the pattern of?
Well, one of the things is like I'm starting to learn that every number has a way to shift it out of the negative and into the positive. Like every number has positive and negative. And when I look at someone's chart, I mostly now work in how do you shift into the best part of your chart. You know, I really don't even spend as much time anymore just telling people, oh, this is what you're about and these are all the things. I really go, these are some of the things. Let me tell you what your guides are talking about. They're talking about how you can turn this 8 around, you know. And yes, so you can do that. It's really best to do that within your chart rather than within just the whole scope of life because then it's more personalized, you know. But like, you know, for you, for instance, I don't remember all your numbers, but I know you do have a hard 8 because I always remember people that have hard 8s because I have one. And how you shift out of that is extreme gratitude every time. Every time that will turn it completely around. And people think that I'm just saying some cliche thing, but I'm telling you, if you really actually practice that, it turns the entire 8 around into the master manifester rather than being a poverty number, which it tends to be. It tends to be someone who repeats their patterns and self sabotages and has all these problems all their life. Literally, when you practice the extreme gratitude, it's like the light turns on, like the sun starts shining on you, you know, and you just start manifesting like crazy, you know. So yeah, that's one of the big ones. So you know,
Extreme gratitude is a very powerful thing that a lot of people don't use enough. Because why should the universe give you anything else if you're not grateful for what you already have?
yeah,
There's
people
always a
don't
silver lining.
understand what gratitude is though. Like I didn't either. You know, people would always say you have to practice gratitude. It's so important. It's such a big deal. And I would be like, yeah, gratitude. I know. I see it on every sign. Everyone talks about it, you know, but I didn't know what it was until I just like, well, I guess I kept getting messages from my guides. I guess that's really where it started. But I finally just made kind of this agreement because I do these like 1 year experiments all the time. And I was like, all right, for 1 year, I'm going to love as many things as possible, you know? And so I literally just would wake up and I would go, I love my pillow. I love my bed. I love my blanket. I love my walls. I love the color of them. And I would just literally, I would walk around my life just pointing out everything I loved. And then everything I didn't like, I would stop paying attention to, you know? And it's almost like a little bit like being delusional about your life. But it was like I just shifted my focus instead of waking up going, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so achy. I feel like crap. My life's so hard." I would go, "Wow, I woke up again. That's so cool," you know? And like I would be ridiculous about it like that though. And I just kept doing that. And it was like, I don't know. It was like my life changed overnight. And it was like I noticed all the beautiful things and I can't unnotice them now. Once you start practicing that, you can't really stop. it just, you go through phases where sometimes you're really into it and sometimes you're not, and you'll fall back in your patterns. I do have that hard 8. But it's so easy to go back to now, where as soon as I start noticing that I'm pointing out all the bad things again, or people are getting on my nerves or any of that, I'm like, why is this good? And I'll point out all the things I like about someone instead of all the things I can't stand. And I'll point out all the things in my life that are working instead of all the things that really suck, and I'll only focus on that. And when I do that for maybe even 3 days in a row, all of a sudden things I'm just thinking about start coming into my life, and easily, So it really does work. It really, really works.
And I know what you mean about falling into those patterns, because there was a long time ago where I was going through a really rough time, and one of the most common things that I would say was "fuck my life."
Oh, yeah.
Every time something bad happened, I'd be like, "Oh, fuck my life," and I would say it all the time. And then somebody caught me out on it one day. They're like, "Does your life ever get better?" And I was like, "Not really." They're like, "Well, why should it, since you keep saying that so often?" And when I switched it around and I started sarcastically saying, "I love my life. I love my life. I love my life."
Exactly what I did.
It was almost like fake it till you make it, because the more I started to say that, the more things started to actually get better. And now I still sometimes say it sarcastically. Just when things when something really bad happens and I'm
a
like,
whole bunch of shit happens, you're like, damn it, again. Yeah. I mean, that's normal, I think.
But it took me a long time just to kind of flip it on its head and do it until, to change the attitude about it, which it changed the whole, vibe of what was happening, and whether it was happening for me or to me,
And that's the thing. You don't realize what you're doing when you do that. Like when you're saying, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my life is hard, you're lowering your vibration to match that feeling, because you're living in that feeling. But when you're saying, I love my life, everything's great, everything works for me, I love this person, I love that person, I love all these things, you're actually raising your vibration to that set point. And then when you're on a different vibration that's higher, all these things want to come to you. Because if you think about it, when you see someone that's really mopey and they're like all doom and gloom and they're like, oh, life sucks.
The Debbie Downers, yeah.
But when someone's ridiculously happy, not you think they're crazy sometimes if they're too happy, but but when they're happy, you kind of go, wait, what's their secret? Because I want that. I want that life. I want something that's working, and that's really just how it works. It just does. So, but I did the same thing. I woke up one day and I had a great life at the time. And I remember I woke up and I realized that my first thought was, I hate my life. And I don't know how long I had been saying that, but I know I must have been saying it for years, but I finally caught it the minute I woke up and I went, oh my goodness, that's terrible. And so I didn't change it right away. But when I moved, I changed my lifestyle a few months later. When I moved, I hung this vinyl sign on my wall right across from my bed that says, I love my life. And I just thought, at least if I read it every day, whether I believe it or not, I'll at least try to believe it, but it took me a long time and it was really embarrassing at first because I didn't want anybody to see it because I was so out of alignment with that feeling. And when I first put it up, I was like, don't go in my bedroom, but then about 6 months later, I caught myself saying it out loud, saying, I love my life. Of course I love my life.
I say it every day now.
And it's just, it changed everything for me. And that's how I knew that affirmations work. And that's also when I learned that your brain will read anything it sees. So don't put negative quotes around your house, put positive ones around your house and do it on purpose. And especially right when you wake up in the morning, put something right there that you'll see, maybe even a bunch of some things, because you want to set the point for the day. You want to say, I love my life. Things are good. I feel good. Everything's great. You don't want to wake up and let your thoughts rule you, or your emotions or any of that.
Or to go straight to your phone and start doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Then you're letting social media dictate your mood for the day.
Yeah.
There's been times where I grab my phone and the first thing I see is somebody talking shit. And it changes my mindset for the morning.
It does. I want so badly to put my phone across the room when I sleep, and I can never do that. But I want to do that.
I've been considering getting one of those old-fashioned alarm clocks just so I can have it next to the bed, and then I have to get up to go get my phone rather than doom scrolling for bed. No, that's probably a good idea. I probably need to do the same.
Or set your alarm on your phone and put it across the room, because then you have to get up to turn it off because it'll annoy the shit out of you.
Yes, exactly. No, that's my problem, is because I spend an hour sometimes in the morning just texting people back from the 8 hours that I was asleep. So, you end up getting sucked right into it first thing in the morning when you're really supposed to be kind of centering yourself, grounding yourself, hydrating yourself, getting your vibe back up, and not really letting the outside world affect you until you have yourself on solid ground, as they say.
Well, I am telling you, the most important time of your day is always the first few minutes when you wake up and the last few minutes before you fall asleep. Those are the times where you have one foot in this world and one foot in the other world, and your guides can hear you clearly. So that is when you want to set your intentions for everything that you want. And if you wake up like me and you check those messages, my whole phone my DMs are filled every day. And I'm just like, the first thing I want to do is look at them and get back to everybody.
Exactly.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should wait just a little bit.
That's the boundaries that we're supposed to be setting with work. So that way, because this is the fine line that you have to be careful of. It takes you between a functional person at work and a workaholic. Finding that balance between the home and the professional life. And that first hour of the morning is really the most important time for yourself. And then the last hour of the day is also equally as important, because people don't recognize this, but what you do before you go to sleep sets the tone for the whole rest of the evening, the nighttime, and then even into the next day.
Yeah. Watch like a murder show before you fall asleep and see what you dream about. It's terrible.
Exactly.
It's terrible. So
my guy said to call your energy back to you is one of the best things you could do at night. So you call your energy back to you. But then they said in the morning, if you would make positive affirmations, or to say something or even ask yourself questions. One of the questions they said was to ask your higher self, how can I be myself more today?
That's a good one.
I was like, oh, that's a good one. How can I be myself more today?
Yeah.
So to ask yourself these kind of questions will actually change your it almost makes you more productive throughout the entire day, because your mind is more focus-based rather than just kind of ADD brain like I usually do in the morning.
My biggest goal is just waking up and catching that first 5 minutes in that dream state and just saying, what was I just dreaming? Where was I just at? What just happened? Because I'm always trying to figure out who was I visiting with, because I lucid dream a lot, and what were we talking about, and what did I learn? I can do that as long as I don't pick up my phone. As long as I don't pick up my phone in the first 5 minutes, I feel like I win my day, but I don't always do that.
I tried to keep notes on my phone like that, and I immediately get distracted by other stuff on my phone. So no, having an actual written dream journal is far more effective than having a note.
If you just put a little note by, even on top of your phone that says, what was I just dreaming? Who was I just with? Where was I just at? just the first thing you see somewhere, so right where you see it when you wake up, it'll trigger that memory to come right back, and you can be more intentional. And I'm better at night because I'm more in control at night than I am in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all. So at night, I actually set my intentions of, what I want, what I want my dreams to be like, where I want to go, what I want to learn, what questions I have, because I tend to go to sleep with questions and wake up with answers. So like if I have big things I'm working on in my life, like literally, maybe like a month ago, I was like, I really need to figure out a payment plan that will work for my course, because I've never come up with one that I thought was that good that everyone could afford. I woke up the next day with the whole plan, and but it's because I went to bed going, guys, can you help me with this? And whenever I do that, it's like they teach me while I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and I just know the answers, and I try to do that as often as I can.
Do you ever dream in numbers? Like, do you ever have like certain numbers pop up in your dream? And then how would you interpret that in the next
So
day?
they teach me in my dreams. So like they take me to classrooms sometimes and they teach me things. And I actually just put together one of my dreams that I had a couple years ago, where they were teaching me this thing about a clock, and it looked like a clock, but it was feet instead of hands, and it was like metaphorical kind of. And I could not figure out what the hell I was learning there. And now I realize I was learning the cosmic clock, which is what I'm trying to learn now. And the guides keep saying, we've been trying to teach this to you for a while, and I'm like, oh, that's what those classes were, but I couldn't figure it out because it was like so far away. Like I would go to sleep and they would take me to like another galaxy or something. It was like we were traveling really far, and I'd find myself in this classroom and I'd be like, what am I doing here? And I couldn't figure out like why I was there, but I remembered that clock with the feet because it was weird, like it didn't make sense. And then now I know what they were trying to teach me. They were like, we're preparing you for this. And so for the last year, they've been teaching me about the number 9. And so basically anytime they get me alone, like if I'm taking a bath or if like I'm just not doing anything, which is almost never, they'll start showing me things. They'll start showing me pictures. Now if they can't get me to stop, which is usually the case, they'll do it in my dreams, and then I'll wake up and I'll go, I just know things that I didn't know before. Sometimes I'll remember, sometimes I won't, but mostly I wake up and I start, whoever I'm meeting with that day, it's very relevant. And then I'll have this flood of information that I give them. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that that was a thing, but they had just
downloads. You didn't unpack the download yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool. Like it is just so cool. And I'll tell you, I'm in my 20th year of numerology. You cannot get to the bottom of this work. Like you cannot get to the bottom. I feel like I am just starting still. And It is so fascinating every single day. It's kind of like your work. Like you get so excited about what you do. That's how I am. Every day I go, oh my goodness, what am I going to learn today? Because I've never had a day that I don't learn more. It's always opening.
Kind of reminds me of like trying to be like into tech. Getting into tech, going and getting your degree, and then within a year you're already outdated, and there's new stuff that you have to learn.
Yes,
and every year there's more and more upgrades and more big revelations. So you have to constantly keep learning.
You have to keep learning, and you don't really have a choice about it. Like because even if you wanted to stop, it doesn't matter, because when you're in the middle of a reading, they're going to start downloading new stuff anyway. They're going to just channel it right through you, and you're going to hear yourself saying stuff and you're like, I didn't know that, and now you do. Now you know things that you couldn't know, so it's really cool. Really, really cool.
Michelle Tami also does school.
Yes. Oh yeah. So guys, I am running wizard school again. And if anyone's interested, I finally came up with a payment plan that will work for anybody. I'm sure of that. Unless you don't have an income, it will work for you. So so my new way is that it's like a pay as you go kind of thing. And so basically it, you know, you can take it all at once if you want to, or you can you know, or you can take it as slowly as you would like, and you'll still graduate whenever the heck you're done, you know, but you won't have the money pressure, you know. It'll be just so the plan is either $4,500, you know, at once, you know, and then you get a bunch of bonuses if you pay it all at once, or you can do $500 down and then $130 every time you want to unlock a new class. And it's just so much better. Like it's so much more affordable, and also paced at your timing now instead of my timing, instead of anybody else's timing. And you still get so many more benefits. Like you still get all the benefits, you know, like all the bonuses and all the things, you know. It's just so much better. And now I feel like I can really open the doors and feel good about it, because for the longest time, I just had so many people that would say, I can't afford it, but I really want to do it. I feel this calling and I just can't. And that was my biggest problem, because it felt like out of integrity for me, because I don't want anybody to not be able to do something they feel a calling for, because I understand a calling.
I feel the
Um,
exact same way.
yeah. And so now I've opened it up that way. And I really think we're going to bring in a lot more people this time. I hope, you know, like I hope that a lot more people feel more comfortable now trying to do it. Because once you do it, the other thing is it opens you wide up. Like you almost instantly start channeling with your spirit guides. You almost instantly start building that connection with them that you would have to like work years to get. It just opens right when you get serious about this work. It's like it just opens almost overnight, and you become this person who walks with this magic. And it's incredible. It really is incredible. And I mean, you can ask any of my students, they're still obsessed with it. And they've been done for a long time now, and they're still obsessed with it. You know, they can't get to the bottom of it themselves. They can't get enough of it. And it's the best thing. It is just the best freaking thing I ever did, you know? So I kind of feel like it's like the only thing I want to do ever again, you know, is just run wizard school forever, you know, because I love it. So, because, you know, we all study together too. Like they graduate, and then every time I have like a difficult chart or anything like that, I bring it into them and I'm like, hey guys, look at this. And we all go over it together. And I love it. You know, I just love it. Anyway, so yeah, I will be running that soon. May 10th, we're going to have a webinar to talk all about it, and you guys can ask me questions. And then May 19th, it's going to actually open, you know, like the doors will open. So, yeah, so that is the plan.
The link for everybody.
Yep. Yeah, and I really didn't like post a whole lot yet. I'm going to start posting a lot more in the next like week or so. It's going to start coming where I do actually tell you guys more about it, you know. And you know, it'll be good. It'll be really good. So, I also made a discount code for just your viewers. I call it like the fans of Laura code. So so I am gonna also you know, we're gonna put a post up where you guys can have like a discounted numerology reading if you want to do that, you know, after this call. It'll be good for a week. So
for somebody who's never had a numerology reading, what would it look like?
So basically, yeah. So basically what we do is we sit together on a Zoom call just like this, you know, just one-on-one. And I look at your birthday, I put it in a chart, and then I tell you like everything that kind of like your plan. Like I tell you your goals, I tell you your obstacles that you face, like the big hard challenges that you brought to help you, but I also tell you about your superpowers and your gifts and the things that like so like the obstacles help you step into your gifts so that you can meet your goals. We sit down and we really talk about who you are and why you're here and what you're meant to do. And the real thing that happens that like I don't know why it happens or how it happens is like this unlocking that happens. So like you spend your whole life kind of going through the motions of like, you know, I go to work, I come home, I raise a family, I do all these things that I'm supposed to do, okay? And you do all those things, but you forget like who you are and why you came here. You forget that big goal and those big purpose, the life purpose stuff. You forget that. You forget that you're this special, amazing person that came here for some reason or lots of reasons, really. And so what we really do is we talk about that. We like go back to that moment where you made that plan and we unlock you back to remembering that. And and the big thing is like you're such a powerful, amazing creator yourself and you forgot that. And so like when you have a reading, you remember that again. Like you leave feeling empowered. You leave feeling like you have this like new lease on life because you know who you are now. You know what you came here with. You know what you're working with and you know what you're headed toward, you know? You're not here just to go to work, come home, go to work again and come home. You're not here for that. You know, you're actually here to change the world probably, you know, and you just have your way that you're doing that. And as soon as I tell you what that way is, you go, "Oh yeah." And you like remember again. And then it's just life changes. You can't go back to not knowing, you know, like so it's an unlocking. And I don't know why that happens. I don't know like what makes that happen. I just know that it's part of the code. It's like when you look at it again, you have this remembrance and you remember, oh yeah, I came here for a purpose. I didn't come here just to be like this weird slave on this earth and be told what to do. Like that doesn't even make any sense, and it never did. And that's all it does. I mean, that's not all it does. I just mean that's what it does. It does that to almost every person that comes to me. I'm not gonna say every single person is like profoundly different, but I'm gonna say a lot of people are, you know. And it changes everything because you remember who you really are and why you're here, and it helps, you know. It's also deeply personal and deeply accurate. Like you wouldn't think I'm talking to just anybody. You know I'm talking directly to you because your numbers specifically talk about you, you know. Like, did you feel that way when I did your numbers? Like that?
Spot on, like scary accurate.
Yes. I don't know how it's so accurate, but it is. It always has been. So yeah. Yeah. But it really does it unlocks you. And then you can't go back to pretending that you're just this human on this earth living this life. You know, you go, "Oh wow, I really did come here for a purpose and I really do have goals here." And maybe if more people would understand this stuff, maybe we would stop repeating it so many damn times. You know, like it just feels like we repeat over and over and over. I've gone through past life experiences and like been reminded of past lives and stuff that I don't remember. And like I have the same theme like every damn time. Like
you don't change that much as a person. You know, you'd be surprised.
Yeah. But do you know how many times I came here to overcome the same damn things? Like if somebody would have just come along and said, "Hey, guess what? You're working on this. Maybe you should focus on it." Maybe I wouldn't have to do 10 lives that are the same freaking life 5 different ways. You know?
And this is where the whole human challenge comes in, because so often we do come in with a plan and then our plan goes completely up in smoke because we don't remember the plan.
Well, and because we're told there isn't a plan, and we're told that like none of the things we think, like we're told like spirit guides aren't real, and if you talk to anything that's not there that you can't see, then you're crazy. you know? So you have like all these things that are like obstacles all the time too. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's all crazy, but yeah, numerology helps a lot. It really does help. And we should do some numerology, by the way, since
No,
we're
why
here.
not? We could do a couple. How about some angel numbers, for example, just to,
Yeah, like
as an
repeating
example,
numbers.
people see angel numbers all the time.
Yeah,
I've been
I would
seeing
love
I've
to
been
do
seeing 333 everywhere lately. Lots
that.
of
Okay.
333s. Yeah.
Okay. So threes are all about balance, and it's your guides talking to you about finding balance in your life, which actually we were just talking about. so,
Funnily enough,
um,
imagine that.
so it's your guides saying it's really time for you to find balance so that you can feel certain and like the ground is under your feet because you aren't feeling stable enough. You know, like you need more stability. And so what happens is soon as you recognize what that number means, then they're going to send the next one. And the next one's going to be kind of your next clue to what to do. It's kind of like breadcrumbs, you know? So like learning the language is really important. So you start following what they're saying so that they can actually guide you, you know?
So they can drop doing the same number over and over again. Because I'm like, okay, I got the
Yeah.
memo. I've seen it 50 times this week. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can switch to a new number now.
They'll show it to you as many times as it takes for you to understand what it means. And they'll also, so if you don't get the number, if like you'll keep seeing it but you don't understand it, then they'll start showing you like birds swooping down or butterflies flying or what they'll show you billboards. They'll show you any way they think you can hear it. But what they're trying to say, like numbers are always the best way because you can actually decipher them pretty easily. They're definitely telling you it's time to seek balance in your life. So it's time to start leveling things out in every direction and kind of going, okay, I'm going to spend time here, not just like too much here and not enough there, you know? And I'm going to take care of myself and think about myself and make sure that I get sleep and I eat and I feel good and I'm happy and, all those things. Like you have to meet your own needs to feel good too, So, but
What do
yeah,
you
that's
guys? What numbers have you guys been seeing a lot? A lot of people have said they saw 444. 444 is a very common one.
okay.
A lot of people see the fours.
Yeah, I was seeing that for a while too. Fours are all about fours are all about opportunities. So like a four is like you can think of the four directions. It's like opportunities in every direction. Sometimes so numbers are interpretive, okay? Like sometimes they mean one thing, another time they mean other things, okay? So it's always what it means to you is what it means, okay? The simplest thing that it means to you. So if you're seeing fours, it could be saying there's opportunities everywhere. Or it could be saying, there's directions that you might go in for travel, like maybe travel's coming because it's also a travel number. The other thing it could be saying is there's a lot of decisions to make, and maybe you need to make some decisions right now. But it's always, if you ever think of fours, it's always a whole bunch of things in all different directions. That's what it always is, but you have to kind of think about what it means for you. For me, it was my guide saying there's opportunities everywhere. And then as soon as I knew that there were opportunities, then they were sending me twos. So I was seeing a bunch of twos. And then they were like, trust that this is coming, but then also kind of like use discernment because not all opportunities are for you. Like not all opportunities are good, and they wanted me to have a little bit of caution as well, So I was seeing
sometimes you think you miss out on an opportunity and it's a blessing in disguise that you missed it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I tend to say yes to everything. So like if anything could even slightly be an opportunity, I'm like, yep, I'll do it. Whatever it is, I'll do it. If I can do it, I'm doing it, That's why I've been going on a lot of podcasts because I'm just like
movie, Yes Man. You never know what you're missing out on if you say no to things. So exactly. Yeah, I love that.
And you don't know what it could lead to. So, so why not? But that's when they started telling me that, is when I started saying yes to everything. They're like, not everything's gonna work, so they didn't want me to get disappointed. And then another one I saw come up, I don't know where, but I saw somebody put 144. So that was another one I saw after that.
My favorite number.
Yeah, that's a really good number. I've been seeing that a lot lately, actually. So 144 means that you're now on the path toward those opportunities, or toward that travel, or toward those decisions. For me, it's the opportunities. It's like they're like, you're on the path now and the opportunities are opening up. First, they were saying they're coming. Then they're saying, trust that they're coming and use your best judgment. And then they're saying, now you're on the path toward it, so get ready. That's what 144 is going to be.
A lot of people believe that to be the angel number of the starseed. So if you see a lot of 144, then it's like your guides are letting you know, hey, you're a starseed. You're here you got a mission. You're on here.
That could be it too. So the one thing about spirit guide communication, especially with numbers, is always, what does it mean to you? So like when you see a number, any number, it can be like any pattern of any number. It doesn't even have to be repeating, but you're seeing a number. Think about what you were just thinking about right before that. Think about the things you've been asking about, the things you're struggling with. Think about what happened right before this. What have I been going through? What could this be about? Your guides are always giving you answers to the questions that you're asking. And they're always giving you answers that you would understand. They're not giving you answers that only your neighbor would understand. That doesn't make sense. It's always the simplest, easiest answer. So like if you see numbers and you go, oh, that's about my mom, like that's your first thought for no reason, it's about your mom then. Like it's always the first thing that comes to mind.
I have a friend whose father sends her 16s. And whenever we're out and she sees 16, she's like, hi, Dad. Like
that's really cool.
So cute. Every time, it's like it's a big meaning for her. And so I won't notice the 16. It doesn't have any meaning for me, but anywhere there's a 16, she's like, and it's just so cute that people feel that in tune. So what does she do? She gets more 16s everywhere she goes.
Of course. Yeah. I asked one time, I was talking to God just like randomly, and I was just like, hey, so I've never seen like heart rocks. Could you just show me a heart rock? I can't stop seeing heart rocks now. Everywhere I look for years, like I'll just look down and they're everywhere every time. So yeah, whatever you ask for, they'll send you, so, all right. So what's another one you want me to talk about?
What about fives? We see the fives a lot.
Okay. So fives are always about family. It's like, so 5 is a nurturing number. It's also a family number. It's also a teaching number. Fives are, whenever you're seeing fives, it's going to have something to do with your family almost every time. It's going to be like, talking about, sometimes it's talking about spending more time with your family. Sometimes it's talking about, family coming or leaving, like it could be like telling you like somebody's leaving the family. It doesn't always mean death. It could mean like divorce or moving away or something like that. But it's going to be like a signal about your family, pretty much every time. It could mean other things, but that's usually what it means.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what about number 2s? Because a lot of people see 222 as well.
Yeah, 2s are usually, so 2 is your heart chakra. It's always going to be about your emotions. It could be about your love life. But usually when I see 2s, it's about trust. Like the guides are usually saying, trust yourself or trust us, trust that things are working the way they're supposed to, or trust what's coming, or stop doubting yourself. Like it could be about self-doubt as well. It's always interpretive.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's always interpretive, but 2s are all about your emotions and your trust for yourself and your trust for your guides and things. So what were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say that it's also like a part of, like when you have a 222 and a 444 or even an 888, it can also kind of mean like you're working your way up to that in a way, like you're working your way up to that potential, what do you call it? The opportunity, as you say?
Yeah. So most of the time, it's going to be telling you something's coming or you're supposed to be working toward that. Like it's usually the indication of them saying, like, this is what we want you to focus on. Like this is either what's coming next. Like if it's opportunities, they're like, hey, opportunities are coming. Or if it's travel, they're like, hey, a trip's coming. It's going to be good for you, whatever. But like, it's always like they're kind of giving you a little preview because they're showing you your path. Like that's what they're trying to do. Sometimes, I mean, it depends on what you're going through in your life. Like if you're going through really hard times, a lot of times you're going to see ones a lot. You're going to see like either 111 or 1111 or things like that.
That's always a big one. Yeah, 1111. A lot of people do that.
That's probably the most popular one. And any series of ones always means the same thing. That's the only one that's not interpretive. That one means that you are on the right path. Things are going as planned. Have no worries. I always see that when I'm stressing out or when I'm feeling like, life is too overwhelming. My guides, I always take it as my guides saying, chill out, everything's fine. Just stop it.
I get all in the right place at the right time is how I look at it. So that's funny.
Yes, that's exactly what it means. You're at the right place at the right time. Everything's going exactly as planned. It might not seem like that, but it is. Absolutely is. And so as soon as you recognize that, they're going to show you something else. And so say you see a bunch of ones and you're like, okay, got it. I'll chill out. I'll stop stressing, then they show you a bunch of threes and then they're like, then you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, now they're saying, okay, now it's time for you to find some balance in all this turmoil, now it's time for you to make sense of it, and make the ground under your feet again so that you can feel good and you can feel certain and like you can rely on your life, to be there for you. And then once you start, heading toward that, then they're going to show you something else, and that's how they actually guide you. Like you learn the little bits as you go because they don't speak right to you, like in language that we understand, so it's kind of like,
that's an important factor in this because sometimes the way we understand things is actually kind of backwards because of the programming that we've been in. And like a good example of this is the number 666. A lot of people consider it to be a negative number. In fact, I like that number. In fact, I call it the pregnant ladies because when you see it, it looks like I tell Aiden, I'm like, look, it's the pregnant ladies again. And then you look and you see 666. I'm trying to kind of, I don't consider it to be the mark of the beast and all of that nonsense.
And that's really accurate, actually, to see it as pregnant ladies because it's the number of creation. So sixes are the most beautiful numbers in the whole chart. Like anyone that has sixes in their chart, it means that they're here to make the world a better place for them having been here. They're the creatives, they're the artists, they're the musicians, they're the beautiful, beautiful souls. Think about the 60s, okay? Like whenever you think about a number, think about a time period. So if you think about the 60s, that was all like, free love and everybody wanted to love each other. Nobody wanted war anymore. They wanted the wars to end and everybody just wanted peace and happiness,
There's 66 people watching right now with 55 likes. I'm sorry, I just noticed that.
So that is the guides, all right? That is the guides telling you that this is all accurate, because they want you to believe, they want you to realize that like there's an agenda to teach us opposite, like there's an agenda to teach us that like 666 is this bad number because it's the number of creation. So if you use that number and so every number, sorry, I go on tangents, but
I love it. No, keep going.
so every number has a vibration of its own. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you get in sync with the way numbers vibrate, which you do just automatically working with numbers, okay, it's like they speak like they're alive. Okay. If you walk in that 6 energy, you are like walking on clouds. Like you are walking on the creative force of the universe. You are walking with creation itself. It is the most beautiful vibration. It is the vibration of love.
No
It comes
wonder they wanted it to be banned from all of the. Do you know what I mean? They're like, that's a bad number. No, it's not.
No, it is the most beautiful number. It is the most beautiful person. When you come across people with sixes, they are always the most beautiful people. All the artists in the world, like all of the musicians, they're acting from six energy, which is your heart, like that's why you feel their music. Anyway, my mom used to always joke. She would be like, if there was a bad number, it's 8. It's not 6. Like
the infinity, nothing ever ends. Yes.
Stuck in a loop of patterns. It's true. But even the 8 has like this big turnaround where it becomes the master manifester, so there's really no bad numbers. But if you were going to say that there's like a devil number, it would be 888. It would never be 666, because 8s are all about materialism too. Like if you think of the 80s, it was about sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's the root chakra. It's like all that, there's nothing wrong with that number. It's just that is the number. It is a low vibration number, so it can cause
it does make you wonder, because my mom got married on 88808 at 8.
Yeah, wow.
But that's her anniversary. Yeah, 88808 at 8.
I mean, it's also the master manifester. So it's like, it could be the poverty number or it could be the master manifester. And it's a very clear difference.
It's the master manifester. She did pretty well for herself, snagging him. Yeah. So there you go.
That's good.
But what's funny is I got married on 11/11/11 at noon.
So you were right on purpose.
So it does make you wonder.
But still, that was still meant to be the way it was, like that was so on purpose because it was like your path, so
the day that you choose your wedding day, that does have an effect kind of in some way. It's like it's almost like a precursor.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get married on 9/9/99. That was my wedding day with my abusive ex, which thank God didn't happen. But that was, 9s are all about the future, and I was like, we're building a future together because we were having babies together. I didn't realize my future was going to include him trying to kill me, but we live and learn.
So, we do indeed.
Yeah. But no, I mean, numbers mean something. All numbers mean something, and every number has a light side and a dark side, and then so many shades in the middle, because also the 6 has its hard stuff too, like a 6 makes you a very gentle-hearted person. It makes you someone that gets your feelings hurt very easily. It makes you somebody who like takes things really personally, even when they're not.
The Cancers in the zodiac, you guys are kind of like that sometimes.
Yeah. So but every number has good and bad, and there's no real bad. There's no real right or wrong. Like that's the other thing. Like we all think there's this right or wrong. There's really no right or wrong. There just is, and really the right thing is always what's true to your soul, what your integrity can stand behind. That's really what's right.
So if you book a numerology reading, and you can bring in your date of birth and all of that, but can you bring in your children's date of birth, your wedding day and all that, and get a little insight into numbers? Perfect. There you go, guys.
Yeah. So I look at all
why you got married on a certain date, you can check it out. Like Ava, for example. Ava chose to get married on 11/22/88. That's a very interesting number,
Ava. So that would be a very so like 1s are all about your direction. They're all about going straight ahead. You can always think of a 1 as an arrow that goes straight ahead. Okay, so it's about your path. So like it's a very intentional day. Like it would be like, I mean, a month, but it would be like, I'm very intentional about what I'm doing. And then the 2s are all your emotions and your love and your trust and all of that. So like I'm going down this path on purpose toward love, toward trust, toward, hoping for the best, basically.
Yeah.
And then the eights would be to manifest my future, I would think. Like we're going intentionally into the future with love, like that's what I would interpret that as,
Well, considering she's got a rose after it, it seems that things are going well, Ava. Yeah,
I hope it's doing well. Yeah, it looks positive. I mean, it's definitely a positive number. So
that's good. It looks like she chose the right date. Perfect. And the right
yeah,
man, so to speak.
yeah. Yolanda just said I also look at death days, which I do because you can really see you can build a whole story out of a birthday and a death day, and you can see why people lived and like if they completed their purpose. Like if you look at their birthday just as a number story and then look at their death day as a number story, you can actually see if they completed what they came here to do,
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
It's really cool.
So we could do that for like a parent or something, just for fun to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Comparing the two
And
is
it's really common for people to be born and to die around the same time period of the year. My mom always called that a completion cycle. She would always say a lot of people die around their birthday, either right before it or right after it, sometimes right on it. It's not always that, but that's a really common thing, and that's the end of a cycle for them, because they start on that cycle, so they end on that cycle.
That is so cool.
So yeah, but you can make a story out of any number pattern, like even like your address and things like that. Like people come to me with business addresses and they'll go, is this a good place for me to work? And I'll like work it out. I'll be like, I don't think so. or yes, sometimes it depends on what it is.
In high school, where we'd be like adding up the numbers and the name, and then you have to add up the birthday and the address, and you end up with a certain number, and if it's within a certain thing, that you're going to marry that person.
Oh yeah. We did all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have tablets back in the day. We had fun with like
and we had those little like things that you make that you like ask questions. I don't know what the heck they're called. Like, those little things that you open. I love those things. I want to make those now. Maybe I should make a whole bunch and send them out with my crystals when I send people crystals.
I love that. Well, the magic 8 ball has a whole new significance now after learning numerology.
I actually have a magic 8 ball that's always right. I don't know why it's always right, but it's always right. So I don't use it a lot though. Anyway, so yeah.
When we would honor my child's death day, he started showing us his birth date and time of birth to tell us to celebrate his birth, not death.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that's really sweet. Yeah, so one thing that you can do with people, you can do it after they die, but you can do it before too, where you can actually establish a sign that they're going to give you when they go. Like my dad was going in for open heart surgery a few years ago, and I said, hey, so don't die. And he's like, I'm not going to. And I was like, okay, cool. But if you do, I was like, this is what I want you to do. And he's like, okay. So
that's kind of funny. You better not die, because this is what it means if you die on this day. And they're like, oh, I don't want to die
this day. And he didn't. He was totally fine then. He has since passed away. But he I told him to send me crystals. Like I was like, send me crystals when I'm walking places and whatever. I haven't found any yet, but he actually came through on an automatic writing thing with my daughter about a month and a half ago, and he was saying he's been sending them, but I'm not finding them yet. So but he has been sending leaves, so I don't know. Like my sister said that when he went to the hospital, like when she took him to the hospital right before he died, he kept having leaves fall from him, these tiny little leaves, and they were just everywhere. And then like I had this like really special day where I was doing something important, and I went to go to the bathroom quick, and and then I was going to come right back out. But when I looked on the floor, there was this little tiny leaf, the exact same kind. And I was like, oh, thanks, Dad. Like it was cool. So, but yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you can establish like what you want your sign to be. And if the person has already passed away, you can still do that. You can say, hey, send me this thing because this is how I'll know that it's you. And then they'll send that, and then you'll always know, just like your friend with the 16, like you'll just always know that that's them then, and you won't have to go through that whole confusion of, is it them? Is it not them? Am I crazy? So just helps,
I love that.
So yeah.
So people can keep an eye out for a discount if they would like a session.
Oh, yeah.
There's your website.
Let me give you a link specifically.
I'm going to share your thing as well.
Here. This is there a way to send you a message? Oh yeah, there. So I'm going to send you just in the private chat. This is the link. Like that's the direct link to just your people. So that's the sale that'll be going on for a week.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And then I'll give you a graphic to post that'll go with that link, later.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Tami.
Yeah, I love doing it.
I'm going to share your Facebook page as well.
Sounds good. Thank you for sharing all my stuff.
It's a pleasure. I've been enjoying the conversation so much. I completely forgot there's another event going on in Stars, so thank you.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. There's the link. Make sure that you give Tami a follow. And she's always doing really cool stuff on her page as well. She's always going live and doing readings and stuff. So make sure that you guys check it out and show Tami some love on her chats as well.
Thank you for having me, and it's always fun to come here.
I love hanging out with you. It's always good fun.
I know. Well, we always have such great conversations. So
we do indeed.
That, and it just feels like we're hanging out, so I love it.
We are. I love it. Well, we'll definitely have you back on in a couple weeks when I get back from Scotland, and we'll do some more readings for everybody. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for the fun chat today.
Thank you, guys, and have fun in Scotland. That's going to be awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. I love you guys. I'm going to jump on with Ferris. Ferris is doing some healing today. I wasn't sure if that was still going to go on today, but he is already on there doing healing. So I'm going to jump on with Ferris on Astara just now. So I will see you guys over there, or I will see you tomorrow morning with Casca, and we'll talk about dragons. See you soon, everybody. Much love.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.